Welcome to the Porsche stand at the 2019 Frankfurt Motor Show, and one of the stars of the show, even though it was revealed before the show all around the world and people have sort of driven prototypes and all, it's still a really exciting car. This is the Porsche Taycan, and that is apparently how you say it. It's not Taycan or Tin Can, it's Taycan. Most of the cars we've seen have been in white or blue, but to make our video completely different, we found one in red. It says it's carmine red, but actually I think it looks much closer to Guards red, really. It's also got more normal wheels on the side there, and it's interesting seeing the car in everyday normal spec because it just looks like a really good looking Porsche actually. We've got turbo and turbo S models, so you get either 671 brake horsepower or 750 brake horsepower depending on the model you choose, and 0 to 60 in 2.8 or 3.2 seconds depending on that, and range obviously varies as well, so 257 or 279 miles. We did have a look in the boot earlier actually, so there's a little boot in the front, not as big as the 911 say, and the boot in the back as well. I sat in the back as well, and it's definitely not as much room as say a Panamera in the back of there. One of the things we've been able to look at the motor show is the various interior trims that we've got. There are various materials that they can show the options out there. This one I think looks rather good. We've got this gold sort of finish on the accents there. It reminds me of, we drove a GT3 RS with Aurum wheels in red and gold. Seems to work very well. Elsewhere in here there are a plethora of screens. I'm not entirely sure about this whole touchscreen thing, and I prefer the physical button thing. Also, you can see these screens are actually getting dirty with finger marks already, but it seems to be the law that if you're having an electric car, then you have to have touchscreens. So we'll see. I think there might be a backlash at some point in terms of people saying, no, I want some mechanical switches. It'll become a luxury thing to have a toggle switch like you'd find in a Caterham or something like that. After a bit of prodding and poking, I did find a couple of mechanical buttons. The one on the steering wheel for the drive modes, and then I like the haptic buttons on the outside of the screen for the sort of direct access for things like the ESP and the sports suspension. Driving position feels, as you would expect from Porsche, absolutely spot on. It's a lovely Alcantara wheel, puts you in the right sort of mood for driving from the offset. It's got 4D chassis control, we've got triple volume air suspension under here. Range, normal, sport and sport plus are the different driving modes that you can have. It runs on an 800 volt electric system as opposed to 400, which is usual for cars. What that means is faster charging, essentially, which is up to 80% in just over 20 minutes if you can find the right charger, of which there are only 2 in the UK at the moment, but there will be more coming and all that, and at least it's prepared for the future. The other thing is that it means the cooling is much better for the car, and obviously cooling is a big thing for electric cars. You might have seen other videos where they're saying the repeatability of things like the standing starts, which has always been a big thing for Porsche. I remember doing countless starts in something like a Turbo S, repeatable sort of sub 3 second 0 to 60 times, whereas something like GTR could only manage 1 or possibly maybe 3 before it would throw up a wobbler and say no, you've got to go and cool the car down, and don't do that anymore for a while. And they want the same for this, understandably. They want it to be that reliable performance. The thing this car has to do, for me, is it has to be enjoyable and interactive to drive. This steering wheel has to send feedback to me, and it's got to be entertaining in more than just a traffic light Grand Prix. We'll get to discover whether that's the case fairly soon. In about 2 weeks' time, hopefully I should be driving this car. And I think it's going to be a big moment, I feel like, in my driving career, because if Porsche can't get this right, this electric car thing right, in terms of delivering genuine enjoyment for the enthusiast, then, well, we might all be scuppered. So, with that in mind, let us know in the comments below, what do you want to know about this car? Because I'm intrigued to know what other people want to know about it as well when we go and drive this. And yeah, for the moment, cautiously optimistic, promising signs. That's the Porsche Taycan at Frankfurt Motor Show 2019.